Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Judge Mershon found Trump guilty for the 10th time, or the 10th violation of the gag order, and fined him another $1,000. This time for attacking juries in the hush money case, saying that 95% of the jurors were Democrats. Mershon warned Trump that future violations could be punishable by incarceration. The last thing I want to do is put you in jail. But at the end of the day, I have a job to do. Your continued violations constitute a direct attack of the rule of law. As a reminder, the gag order prevents Trump from hurling insults or threatening or intimidating witnesses, jurors, the prosecutors, court staff, and the judge's family. But he can attack the judge or Alvin Bragg if he wants to. Trump went in front of the pool of reporters and got the accordion of hypnotic falsehoods and started saying that he's given a gag order, and he says if you violate it, you're going to go to jail. And frankly, you know what? Our Constitution is much more important than jail. It's not even close. I'll do that sacrifice any day. So he's trying to martyr himself to his Constitution-loving base who's never actually, one, read through that Constitution, two, understood what they read, three, could apply it to, like the 14th Amendment, Section 3, for instance, to Trump's insurrection there. It's a grift. So we know that Trump reposted a Steve Bannon video attacking the judge's daughter, saying that she made tens of millions of dollars off of the Democrats, which on its surface is so stupid it's laughable. It's like, wow, if the Democrats have $80 million to throw at some random judge's daughter, they must be sitting on trillions, because that's not a thing. Hell, you didn't even pay Stormy Daniels $80 million. You paid her $150,000. I think the judge's daughter would have been happy to disparage Trump for free. Probably would have paid $50 to have the honor to do it. You know what I mean? You wouldn't need to pay her $80 million. But that aside, let's look at the energy around this gag order, because we just have an evolving situation here. Entertainment purposes only. Will this warning by the judge actually make a difference, or is Trump destined to see life inside like a court holding cell? Now, spoiler alert, when I did this reading just a few days ago, I saw the judge basically ordering him like on a Tuesday night, to be held in the court holding cell, something like that, where it's kind of like a go-between between him going to Rikers Island and not doing anything at all. The court holding cell would kind of be that middle part here. So he didn't do it on this ruling, because this ruling was the second go-around of the previous violations of the gag order. Will he do it? Will they bring up a violation just for insulting the judge's daughter, or are they going to wait for him like the line is now? You violate it from this point on, you're screwed. We'll see. So come on down. We'll let the auto adjust. There we go. Entertainment purposes only. The Magician. I don't think this is an illusion this time. The judge is serious, and if a lesson needs to be taught, the magician's there to teach it. If Trump wants to manifest being behind prison and never surrendering to match his t-shirt, well, he's going to get a jumpsuit to match his hair and his skin spray tan. Crossed with the 5 of Cups and the 7 of Coins. The judge is serious. He doesn't want to do this, but he's run out of options. It's like any authority figure that's dealing with an insolent, immature child or person, that you try and reason with them like you would a reasonable person, but they're unreasonable. So they don't reason like a reasonable person, because by definition they're unreasonable. That's kind of confusing. In other words, you can't negotiate with terrorists. Trump is acting like a frickin' terrorist. So he might need a timeout. Let's put it that way. Underneath, the judge is evaluating is evaluating how this is going to impact his case, how this is going to impact society, so on and so forth. Trump is going to look at this and say, how much money can I fundraise off of this? How much more can I bleed my base dry? And they will send him money. They'll send him bail money. You better believe that these poor slobs are going to bail out the billionaire. But you know what? It just means that for some of them, they're just going to fall that much harder, and maybe they need to fall that much harder to wake up. In the past, you got the Seven of Swords. Trump gets away with everything. How many times has he violated gag orders and nothing's happened? And right now he's playing the, I'm the ex-president of the United States, you can't do this to me, it's not fair card, which is the same card he's been playing for the last 8 years. Before that, can you imagine if he was never the president of the United States and we went through this? His butt would be in prison, would have been in prison a long time ago. Current situation is the emperor. The judge has to appear to be fair and balanced, but I think the judge is also very stern and he's a strict adherent of the law. Trump is finally meeting his match with this guy. You might argue that, oh, well, look, he's already violated it twice. He's been fined 2 different court hearings for 10 different violations. Now, to be fair, the judge did toss out 4 of those violations. A couple has said, Cohen basically baited him, calling him von Schützenpants, which is just amazing and started trending big time on Twitter. So again, the humiliation of Donald Trump continues. But the judge is trying to be fair. Not all the rulings go the prosecutor's way. But at some point, Trump is going to be held accountable, and this is kind of the judge to do it. The overarching energy is the 9 of coins. Basically what lit the fuse is him going after the judge's daughter and saying she's got $80 million from the Democrats. It's a provable lie. And if Trump's not careful, if he goes after the daughter again, or if he goes against goes after the witnesses or anything like that, he's toast. He is absolute toast. I assure you the judge will put him to some incarceration of some sort. I think he will lock him up in the court jail first as a shot across the bow. Or if you're a fan of the swashbuckler movies, or like Zorro, it would be like him giving a little Z on the cheek. A little bit of a little cut. It stings. It's humiliating, but it's not life-threatening. It's just showing you who's the boss, who's your daddy type of thing. Because Trump always thinks he's the boss and always in charge, and the judge is going to teach him a lesson. And what's the lesson to be learned from this? The tower. He's going to knock Trump right off his high tower. Trump has not had somebody above him. You know what I mean? He's always at the top, always dictating, and now there's going to be a judge that's going to force him to do things that the judge wants him to do. When he violates the gag order, and he will, this is going to rock Donald's world and send him crashing down to the ground and into lunacy. And the outcome is going to be Donald's going to go a little bit crazy. Walking around like a caged animal in his cell. It's kind of like it's that transition that he's about to go through. And this is the manifestation part. Oh, let's bring it back to that manifestation as it is now framed in this part right here. Gotten away with it, screwing with the wrong guy. He's out of his league, going after people he shouldn't be going after. It's going to, Humpty Dumpty got shoved off the wall here. And it's going to, I think he's been incarcerated, it's going to start taxing on his mental faculties. Yeah, he will try and raise money off it and grift off of it, but he is going to hate being behind bars. It's going to impact him much worse than it would impact a normal person because he's never been restricted like this. He doesn't know what it means. I wouldn't even want to compare putting a wild animal in a cage as the same thing, because to me that would demean a wild animal. But it's going to be along that psychosis of, and again, we're only talking like a few hours to overnight, that type of thing. It's just literally will be you're going to, Libby had a great reading on this. She saw him like near the end of the day. Jury leaves, they usher Trump not out the front door, but into the cell and hold him there for a few hours, let him leave through the back door, type of thing. But it looks like this will have a profound impact on Trump, and in some ways it's going to drive him a little bit crazy. Not that he isn't already crazy, but it may drive him even crazier. Let's ask about the impact that incarceration would have on Trump's psyche. Something like that. It's like I can't picture a scenario that he doesn't violate the gag order again. I just can't picture a scenario where he doesn't do that. Okay, so how does this impact Trump's psyche? All right, let's see. The Six of Swords. Yeah, it's such a tranquil, peaceful time in jail. Intellect. Swords are about intellect, going from tumultuous to calmer shores. It might calm him down a little bit, kind of like when you put a kid in timeout, you give him time to calm down and think about what they've done. But I think it starts blunting his thoughts. He can't be impulsive anymore because there's an actual punishment tied to it. So one of the first things you'll see is that you might hear Trump say no comment for the first time in your life when it's something that he could be aggrieved about. Crossed with the Eight of Coins and the Seven of Wands. Okay, so if he gets put in that, how is it going to affect his psyche? Well, first off, he's going to fundraise off of it. And he's going to fight. He's going to say how he fought the good fight and stuff along those lines. That's the outside. But what's happening on the inside is it kind of impacts his health. And while he's been able to fight off court cases before, the bar, it's like, picture this as bars rising up. And he's trying to beat the bars down because it's like a cage rising up around him, trapping. Even though he's fighting, it's going to trap him on all four sides. And he won't be able to stop it. So he's going to feel trapped. He's going to feel caged. In the past, the Nine of Cups. It's a successful businessman who's created his own mythology. He's had everything he's ever wanted in how big a quantity he's ever wanted. And when it comes to failures and debts, well, even that he walks away and blames somebody else. He's lived a charmed, blessed life that he has taken for granted. Taken full advantage of, but taken for granted. Current situation. Again, we're asking how this is going to impact his psyche here. He's been a very smug, arrogant person. Once incarcerated, though, it's like he's going to turn like into this old man. It's going to age him. Even if it's only a few hours or overnight, it's going to age him. Not the least of which of his vanity, because he won't have his products, but it impacts his health. These are all pentacles are about health and DNA and things along those lines. So it's going to leave a lasting impression for the rest of his days. It will probably make him even more scared once he is found guilty in this trial and has, Georgia, Mar-a-Lago, and the January 6th trials coming up, because he might find himself with prison sentences. And just, again, having an overnight stay or an over weekend stay in the courthouse jail or in Rikers, it's going to tell him how much he doesn't like prison. And that may make him want to flee, to avoid prosecution, work out deals to get out of this. So this is going to have a big impact on him. Again, because you got the emperor sitting over you, you have lost control of the narrative. Judge Rashan has control of the narrative. Trump does not. And Trump feels vulnerable and weak because he can't manifest whatever he wants because he's not in control of his world anymore. The lesson to be learned: government and big organizations. The justice system is finally going to catch up with Trump, and he can't avoid it. It's also, I think this is going to impact his mental health as far as running for the presidency as well. And if he's going to flee, he's going to have to get the help of other governments and other world leaders to help him on this one. Out comes the Three of Coins. Again, I think his health starts getting darker on this one. There's two things that are going to go on. He's going to get a bit more paranoid. He's going to get a bit more introverted. And I think he's going to look for ways to get out of the country. I don't know how he'll manage it. I've speculated that for a while. And maybe I'll just ask again. It's been several months since I've asked that question last. To me, it always seemed like Saudi Arabia was his most likely destination, mostly because Putin's dealing with health issues, and will the new Russian government, once Putin's gone, want Trump around. President Xi in China isn't really going to want him. I don't see any reason to have him over there. Saudi Arabia does not have extradition treaties with the United States, and Kushner's sitting on $2 billion of their money in the form of a hedge fund. And Trump's done a lot to help Saudi Arabia. So he might ask for a little favor, so to speak. Does Saudi Arabia want him? Who knows? And Saudi Arabia, basically, they own the LIV golf tournament, which merged with the PGA. So it's now the premier professional golf league in the world. And Trump's courses at Doral and I think Bedminster have stops on that tour, and so Trump's involved with that. So he might have a business reason to go to Saudi Arabia, that type of thing. So will Trump try and make an escape to someplace like Saudi Arabia and not come back? There's energy that showed that before. What do we see now? Just a little four-carder. Weighing the options, the pros and cons of it. It looks weak when you flee overseas to UAE, but at the same time, you're not in prison. His health might, if his health is okay, he might be able to do it. If his health is in decline, how long can you stay if your health is in decline? So there's going to be a big push, though. Either he has this big health event that prevents him from going, or he's going to make a big push to make that move. Right now, I think the only thing that prevents him from going is a health event. We got the Page of Cups underneath, and the Queen of Swords, and the Two of Wands. Yeah, we got a pair of twos here. The planning stages, again, looking into it. How do I get out of this thing? How do I, he's going through the stages of how would I contact him? How would I get in? How will I get away from my Secret Service guys? These two things are the planning and weighing the pros and cons of things. Center underneath it, though, it's kind of a fantasy at this point, though. He doesn't have the logistics worked out. And again, he's kind of crazy. In Saudi Arabia, they may not, they're starting to make some headway with the United States and Israel and such, and becoming an international player. They may not want to screw it all up by having Trump show up in their country, just when things are politically working out for them. Just saying, there's that aspect too. But there's also going to be a practical nature of it. Trump may want to go, but they have the say, yes or no. And he can't really buy his way in because the Saudis are, they have more money than God. There's nothing Trump can offer them financially that would convince Saudi Arabia to let Trump in to stay. He'd have to give up something else of value. Oh, I don't know, like, Israel's air defense plans through their Iron Dome, or something along those lines. That's the type of stuff that's valuable beyond money. That information right there. So is he going to flee? He fantasizes about it, but he might be just a little too crazy. He may not have enough to offer to do it. His health may not allow for it. He may not even get an opportunity. It's undecided. Definitely undecided, but I would say he's definitely contemplated and contemplates it. Okay, so gag orders. I suspect he will violate the gag order again. I suspect the judge this time will give him a few hours in the court holding cell to get the message across. And I think the message will be received. And I think it's going to rock Trump's world in a way that Trump is not expecting. And that's really interesting to me. We'll see if that plays out, if and when he does do it, and if and when he gets incarcerated, how that impacts Trump. It could impact him in ways that he is not expecting at all. We'll leave it here. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your likes, shares, comments, everything you do to feed the YouTube algorithm so this video makes it out to a wider audience. To folks discovering this channel recently or for the first time, welcome to the channel. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.